Hey guys, I'm Illegal Mist, and today I'm going to show you a video on a speed team that does about 1 minute runs on stage 10 of Dragon Hard. I went ahead and I made a team with Kymar first, but then I realized that I could put Renegade in his spot just as easily. So I'm going to cut to the Kymar team and then we'll show this one after. Okay, so this team is comprised of Staltus, Riho, Seer, Lydia, and Kymar. So I've made a bunch of modifications for this team, and as far as it goes, Riho and Staltus are the ones that you have a lot of flex with. So if you find a couple champs that can take down the boss pretty quickly, go for it, but we're going to show them off because of their special passives that they have. Like I said, it's a fairly accessible team. Staltus was a guaranteed champ from Ancient Shards. That's where I got him. I actually got a dupe of him from it. And then Riho was another guaranteed champion. We've got Staltus and Riho kind of duoing the boss, and then we have the Lydia, Kymar, and Seer team going in, nuking the waves, and doing the reset. You could switch out Riho and Staltus for other champions that you think could duo the boss, but I found that they work pretty effectively. Riho gives us the decreased crit rate and then a decreased attack as well, and Staltus is able to reflect the poisons. And then Riho's passive is also able to reflect the poisons too, which is pretty nice. So they work super well. You might be able to get away with a Dark Kale and maybe a Bad L or something, but I don't know if I want to rebuild my Bad L yet, so I've kind of kept him out of this team. So let's run this dungeon run, and then we can kind of talk about the team, look at the presets, and kind of the things that you got to watch out for. Okay, so there we go, 57 seconds. So a sub 1 minute speed team. Not too bad considering Staltus is completely unbooked. Okay, so here we have our preset. So we have Staltus. Doesn't matter what he does. I like to save his A3 for the boss, just so he can have the increased defense for the first hit that the boss gives us. We have Riho going in. She is using her perfect body to give Seer an extra buff. And then the second wave, she doesn't need it because Seer has the extra damage from taking down the first wave. And then we have her opening up with the perfect body. Now, you don't necessarily have to open up with it, but I found that the flow of the block debuffs and then the reflect, it works a lot more consistently when we have it like this. I can show you a run without it being prioritized, and it's a lot faster if the run goes well. But I noticed that what ends up happening is the boss puts the poisons onto Riho and Staltus. They get reflected back, and the boss gets 8 debuffs. And then Riho goes in with pressure point after. She places the HP burn and decreased defense, but then she can't place decreased attack or crit rate. So the boss is left with all the crit rate that he needs, and then my Riho just, for some reason, gets pretty unlucky. She gets hit with a crit, and then she gets hit with a second crit pretty frequently, so she'll go down. So you want to make sure that you prioritize the block debuffs, so that way she doesn't receive the poisons, and then she doesn't reflect the poisons back. And yeah, so we can kind of go in. I'll show you a run with this off, and then you can see it's faster, but not as consistent. If you had a more tanky Riho, you might be able to get away with it though. For Seer, we have pretty standard. She's going in, nuking, and then I just have her using whatever she wants. For Kymar, again, Seal of Magic, blocked off of the first one. He uses it, and then I have him go in so that he can place a poison, potentially, and then if he lives, I just have him reset the cooldowns and then give us some turn meter fill. Realistically, though, you probably want to turn it off. We'll turn it off. We'll do another run after this and see. Just that way, he doesn't mess with the turn meters, and he doesn't mess with Riho's block debuffs or anything like that. And then for Lydia, we have her going in. She's using the decreased defense and weaken, just both rounds. I have it so that she's not using nullification if the wave doesn't go down on the second try. And that's because I want her to try and put up poison sensitivity. We get that, it's nice, it makes the run a little bit faster, but my Lydia's for my clan boss right now, so if you increased her accuracy and she was able to land it more consistently on the boss, I think it might prove pretty useful. So let's go in and let's have Riho not prioritize the block debuffs, and she'll prioritize pressure points this time. So we get to the boss in 30 seconds instead. We do land the poison sensitivity, which is nice, and then we land all of the debuffs on the boss. Reflect a couple of the poisons. And then we go in and we place the block debuffs. And you can kind of see the difficulties with this one. We don't quite line everything up perfectly. We can do another run just to kind of show you guys. So yeah, 118 on that run. Let's run it back real quick and we can kind of see. All right, onto the boss in about 16 seconds, which is nice. We land a whole bunch of debuffs on the boss, and then we reflect some stuff back. Unfortunately, everyone just barely lives. It would be nice if they went down there. It would make the run quite a bit faster. And yeah, just over a minute, 101 on this run. So that's the run when we prioritize Riho using her A2 first. And then what we can do, we can go in and we can change the priorities of Riho's skills. It actually changes it up quite a bit because it determines whether she's going to put poisons back onto the boss, whether her teammates are going to live, and then eventually whether she's going to be able to place the decrease attack and decrease crit rate. So let me try something real quick. I don't know if I've done this before, but we're going to open up with the A1 and then we're going to go in with the perfect body. So that way she can go in, she can cleanse herself and heal herself, and then hopefully she can get back around to the decrease attack and decrease crit rate. So we'll see how this one goes. Okay, so we get to the boss in about 24 seconds, so a few seconds slower than normal. So you can see now all of the debuff slots are filled up right now, and then what happens is Riho goes to try and place her decrease attack and decrease crit rate, and she doesn't have a space for it. And what ends up happening is that she gets pretty low and then she dies right there. So it can happen where she gets too low and then Staltus doesn't really have enough tankiness and then we end up losing it. So if you go in and you want to prioritize Riho, just know that you risk the chance of her not being able to place the decrease attack and then the team wipes. So we see when we use the A1, Riho's not able to place the decrease attack or decrease crit rate, and then the run ends up failing because she ends up dying and she's not able to heal Staltus up enough. So what we can do is we can change it so that she opens up with her pressure points ability, and then she'll be able to go in, she'll be able to place those, and then hopefully she'll be able to place the block debuffs, and hopefully the team dies and it goes a little bit faster. So to the boss in about 15 seconds, which is awesome. Then we can see just because the team is living, we're not as fortunate. It takes a little bit longer. So if you could kind of lower the survivability of those three champs, I think it would go quite a bit faster. Okay, great. So yeah, that's the 56-second run. So as you can see, it's much more consistent when we have our Riho go in and place the decrease attack and decrease crit rate on the boss. When we do that, it seems like her and Staltus can kind of live forever. So don't worry about them being able to survive. They're plenty tanky enough if you build them correctly, and they're slightly faster than the boss, and then she's able to do all of this stuff. And the nice thing, again, you can reflect all of the debuffs that go onto her. So there's potential if it kind of gets out of sync and she gets stunned, she can kind of reflect that stun off of her, place the cleanse and block debuffs onto Staltus, and then he'll get his turn again if you need it. So yeah, that's the team. Let me show you the builds real quick in the masteries. So for our Staltus build, we have him in a regen and speed set. We've got him at 71k HP, 3.7k defense, 240 accuracy. So he's kind of just built with like whatever gear for regen, to be honest. He just needs to be 251 or above speed and as tanky as you can get him. For his skills, he's completely unbooked. I would say if you can, I would try and book him out, because I have a suspicion that him and Riho could potentially duo this. It might be, the waves might take a little bit too long with just the two of them, but I think there's something pretty cool there that could potentially happen. For his masteries, I could definitely change him up and we could get War Master on him, but masteries I really don't even think are needed on him. I wouldn't do it, and I would see how it goes. For Kymar, this is my PvP Kymar, so he's got high accuracy, high speed, and then his survivability stats I don't even care about. So that's him, and then he has Eagle Eye and pretty standard masteries for Kymar. Lydia, she's, like I said, in my clan boss team, so she's got high speed, pretty low accuracy, like I said, too low to land the majority of the debuffs on the boss, and that's her. She's in War Master. Her masteries aren't even completely filled out. For Riho, now I switched up her build a couple times. She's at almost 3k defense, 55k HP, 251 speed. Again, just get her over that threshold with the boss and you'll be good. And I found that it's really important that she's just a bit faster than the boss, because her reflect is on a 3-turn cooldown. So if you're able to find a way to deflect those poisons back to the boss, it'll be on a 3-turn cooldown, and I think the boss cycles it back in 3 turns or so. So it's really nice to be able to do that. For her accuracy, I have her built for a 3v3 arena, so she's got 448 accuracy in the regen set. And for her skills, she's fully booked out. I have a 3-star blessing on her for intimidating presence, which is for arena. It's for my Kymar and Arbiter team, so I don't think this is necessary at all. It doesn't do a whole lot for us. And then she's built with kind of standard PvE masteries, so she's got the accuracy, and then she also goes down to War Master. And then my Seer, who I love, I can't wait to get the 6-star on her. She's got these super sweet crit damage gloves. I love to show them off, but she's got 41k HP, 2.7k attack, 2.2k defense, 214 speed, 326 crit damage, 281 accuracy. She's fully booked out. She has Crushing Rend, of course, and then she has Flawless Execution. I'm hoping soon, once I get that 6-star blessing, maybe a couple lucky rolls, I'll be able to get her over to War Master. I think we're right on the cusp of being able to do it, but we're not quite there. So the only thing different we did for this team is that we subbed out Kymar for Renegade. Renegade's running at 238 speed, so faster than our Seer, but when the second wave comes around, Seer will be able to use the weaken, and then she'll be able to go in with the Karma Burn. Goes in about 24 seconds if everything goes well, but we'll do a run just to show you guys. Okay, so yeah, 110 run, that's pretty solid. This piece is actually, I'm not keeping it. We got the new stages, I don't need it. So yeah, as you can see, a 110 run is pretty solid. I still think there's some minor tweaks that I can do to the team to make it slightly faster, but I'm pretty happy with that. Renegade definitely comes in, and she's super solid for that role. You really don't even notice that you need Kymar when you use her, so Alright guys, that's all I've got for you today. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please subscribe if you haven't already. I've got plenty of videos coming out on the hard stages, and I'm going to try and make free-to-play teams for every dungeon that I can, as well as some speed teams that are more accessible than your double TO, double Cavalax teams. That's all I've got. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.